Hey there, welcome to day 7 of our free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge, December 2021. This is the 10th time we've gone through the 30-plus day challenge since the beginning of the pandemic. And today we're going to talk about something, again, we're still working on the foundation before we dive into the SOAP framework. We want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we've got a strong foundation set for building and adding the SOAP framework onto it. So today we're going to talk about your core, which is, your core is your core, my core is my core. What is at the center of our being? What's most important to us? And we talked about what do we want. We talked about the different areas and aspects of our life. And today we're going to talk about, our tool is core values. Now, I was thinking about core values last night. I was like, well, geez, if I think about core values, they're really just feelings. They're feelings that we want to get to in each area and aspect of our life. And there's different ways to find and figure out what your core values are. You may or may not have, depending on how old you are, done some thinking or done some work in this area to find out and ascertain what is important to you. But chances are, whether you've looked it up or discovered it or had a course on it or learned something about it or read a book on it before, you have things that are near and dear to your heart. Things that you love, things that you don't like at all. And what I've started doing, because it's really, really hard. There are literally hundreds or thousands of different core values. If you do a Google search and you search for core values, and I've done this several times because I wanted to, I've been talking about core values. I would say every one of the challenges. I'm not sure. I'm thinking this is a notebook from one of the very first challenges, and I've got core values. We didn't talk about core values, and actually this was last no nonsense November, not this last one, but in 2020 when I talked about core values. I did a bunch of research on them. I'm like, what are the most common core values? And there were 8 or there were 9 or there were 10 or there were 7. And then I realized there are literally hundreds and hundreds. So I made this list of all of the different core values and started to figure out what mine were. So I'm going to quickly share a process with you for figuring out what your core values are. I'm going to tell you what I do because it works better for me. I take and I look at the list, or I think about the list, but for each area and aspect of my life, instead of just trying to come up with what are my core values, I break it down the same way I break my life down. And I say, okay, what is my core value or core values with respect to my physical health, my mental health, my emotional, my spiritual, my financial, with my relationships, my contribution, my communication, and my confidence. And that way, instead of just having one core value, I get to have 9 different ones. Now, this is from last August, for example. I picked a core value for each area and aspect of my life. Now, I haven't done it today yet, but these are the ones I had before. For physical, from this last April, it was well-being. Oh, I guess I just shared April's. So I started doing this in April with the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And then in mental, it was continuous improvement. I need a magnifying glass. Emotional, it was gratitude and experiences. Spiritual, it was to be myself. We're all one. We're all connected. Financial, the word that came to me was abundance. Relationships, it was love, myself and others. Contribution, it was give value. Communication, it was listen, understand, clarify. Confidence, it was confident, believe, progress, and action. And then my overall core value was love for myself and others. And if I think of each and every one of these, and it's been the same for my whole life, I think, that my overarching core value is love. But I don't get to that until I pick a bunch, and then I look at them and I look for commonalities and I look at what's similar, what's different. So here's a quick process for doing this for yourself if you've never done it before. Number 1, write down your values, what's important to you. Number 2, consider people that you admire, role models, people that you look up to. What do you think some of their core values are? 3, consider your experiences, things that you've had experiences with and how they've impacted you and framed your core values and what's important to you. Number 4, categorize values into related groups. Like a lot of things are related. Like when I do be me, all one and all connected. To me, for spirituality, those are all related. So I group them together. 5, identify the central theme. Look for themes. And that's why I like to break it down by the areas and aspects of my life, because I can easily categorize themes that way. And then number 6, choose your top core values. The number you choose is up to you. I'm going to say if you got hundreds, it's very dispersed and not very focused. It's better if we have maybe a handful or 10 core values. That's more manageable because we use our core values to filter our decisions, to filter our choices, to decide what's important to us, to decide the actions we will or will not take, to decide what we will and will not do. So I'm just going to read some core values. I'm not going to read them all because I've got like several hundred here, but things like authenticity, achievement, adventure, authority, autonomy, balance, beauty, boldness, compassion, challenge. Challenges are definitely one of my core values. Citizenship, community, competency, contribution, creativity, curiosity, determination, fairness, faith, fame, friendship, fun, growth, happiness, honesty, humor, influence, inner harmony, justice, kindness, knowledge, leadership, learning, love, loyalty, meaningful work, openness, optimism, people, excuse me. Oh, peace, pleasure, poise, popularity, recognition, religion, reputation, respect, responsibility, security, self-respect, service, spirituality, stability, success, status, trustworthiness, wealth, and wisdom. That's just one list, and there's tons of other lists. There's a lot of things that I have as core values that aren't on there. Freedom, thinking for myself, or freedom of thought. So today, our action item, our tool is core values. Our action item is to determine what your core values are. If you want to be like me and use the life framework and pick 1 or 2 or 3 for each of those areas and then narrow it down and use the process to narrow down what your core values are, what we're going to do for an action item today is share just one of your core values. It doesn't have to be your primary one. Maybe you don't know that yet, but share one or how many ever you want in the comments below of what is super important to you. What are your core values? What are your drivers? And try to make them positive drivers. Like there are a couple on here that I find a little bit, I wouldn't choose because they're so like recognition. That is determined by things outside of us. And so I wouldn't personally choose recognition. What's another one? Popularity. That's another one. If you are basing your core value on popularity, you're putting it and giving your power away to outside forces. And I recommend that you do not do that. Just from actual personal experience. Be like comparing yourself to others. It's not a good core value because there'll always be somebody that's better than you at absolutely anything that you can imagine. All right. That's it. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. I want to peek ahead and see what we're going to do, but I'm not going to do it. You'll be surprised. Ooh, we're going to talk about change. One of my favorite things. All right. If I can help you, ask. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.